Interesting is that this is the third time that accounts were taken down in the Philippines. And then I read Facebook explanation is saying it's coordinated and inauthentic behavior. In other words, these accounts are misrepresenting themselves. And it's nothing to do with the content.
When were the first two times?
Last year, there were twice last year, accounts were taken down. Last year, in the last, I think it was sometime in October, those were taken down were also accounts identified with supporters of President Rodrigo Duterte. And in this, the third time, a few days ago, there were 65 accounts identified that were identified as those that were associated with or either supporters or fan pages with the president. In other words, these are accounts which have, the thing is, it's interesting also, it's nothing to do with the content, but because these accounts have misrepresented themselves, that's what, according to Facebook, they were taken down on the basis of their behavior.
What exactly do you mean by misrepresented?
In other words, they could be other than what they are. In other words, they could be fake accounts, they could be bots.
Meaning one person is creating several accounts.
Yes, that could be true. Because of course, Facebook has AI and has a way, and also people to monitor such accounts. But I think Facebook should do the explaining.
Yep.
The thing is, they come up with a statement. They came up with a statement, but I think they really have to make themselves accountable before Filipinos, because remember, we have 50 million accounts Facebook here in the Philippines, and I think they owe us an explanation. What are these accounts really, and to explain what do they mean by coordinated, inauthentic behavior. What social media offer to us are possibilities. The case of Mr. Gabonada is saying that why is it that it's time during the election? And I think if we look back in the 2016 election, it was also the time when the trolls actually made their presence felt, predominantly overwhelming the internet with certain messages that favor some candidates, especially the President Duterte. At the time, he was just a candidate. And I think election is also the season when social media could be abused by campaign surrogates and spin doctors. So it's also the time that everyone is to be vigilant, and I think if vigilance would mean that some sites have to be called out, I think it's very well within our rights as citizens, very well within our rights as voters to report abuses on social media. I think election is a season for that. The openness would also mean that people would take advantage of such openness for campaigning and sharing information.
But Professor, Facebook's statement zeroed in on, I would suppose, two particular elements. Number one, somebody was influencing or directing these users. In this particular case, it's supposed to be Mr. Gabonada. That's the first one. The second one is that there are some fake accounts and some authentic accounts. But using these two elements, don't you think that this also applies to a lot of other groups, not just pro-administration people?
Yes, I think that's why I was saying earlier that Facebook has to really be accountable for what they did, and they have to give us a list, an inventory of the sites they have taken down for us to know. Otherwise, you could just make this issue a political one, right, saying this is just favoring certain groups, but we haven't really seen the whole of it. And Facebook has only revealed some sites and not all sites. And I think if they're having this function of a platform which disseminates information, I think they owe us an explanation for that. They should be held accountable also, and maybe give us an inventory of the sites that were taken down, because we don't know what are the sites.
But you saw the statement of Nick Gabonada.
Yes.
Do you agree with him on a certain level that he is being singled out? Do you agree with that?
As far as being named Facebook, yes. But the thing is, when Facebook issued a statement and enumerated some of the things that were happening or that they observed from the accounts, like these accounts were used to vilify opponents of the president, and they were targeting human rights groups, and they were spreading hoaxes and conspiracy theories online. I think his group is, if he's responsible or connected to such group, should also come out and say that that's really happening, like the PCOO Undersecretary, Associate
Lauren Badoy.
Lauren Badoy, for example, hinted in her post that some behavior there cannot be controlled. So in other words, it's not that those sites that were taken down were all innocent. They were just sharing food photographs